Hey guys. So today we're going to take a look at something I've been wanting to also do for a while here, and that is Transformers Generations Metroplex. Now, this is the biggest Transformer ever made ish. And I say ish because technically he's taller than Fortress Maximus by an inch or two. But if you put them side by side, he doesn't have the full on bulk and weight of Fortress Maximus. So he's the tallest, but I'm not quite sold on whether he's the biggest all around, if that makes sense. But he is still massive. He is 2 foot tall, just the robot mode by himself. Now, I'm going to kind of do this in sections because he is bigger than my review area. So there's just no way I can transform him and everything with what I've got currently. But I thought I'd zoom into different parts here, like start up top, kind of look at the robot mode, then we'll stop, we'll go to his next mode, and then move on through. Just to kind of give you an idea of some of his features and forms and everything like that. Now, with this skyscraper off his back here, he is about 28.5 inches tall. And I'm going to start with looking at that. It just pegs into the back. And it's pretty much his handgun in robot mode. But we'll take a look here. You can see nice detailing, everything. And it does have a missile that it can shoot here. This is the button. And what I had not noticed when I first opened him and was looking at him, but when I watched other reviews, is pretty much this is a starship. This is the bridge. If you look back here, obvious thrusters. And it's a Cybertronian starship that accompanies Metroplex. Now, Metroplex himself up here, he does move his head. There is kind of a gimmick with him where you can move his eyes around, but I really don't care for it. Let's see. So, I mean, it's kind of, it's one of those things that I think was just pretty much unnecessary. But it's there. This whole section here is a button where you can push and get several phrases.
Decepticon deactivation commencing. Target synchronizing initiated. Target obliterated. These Decepticons scatter like cowards. Till all are one. Metroplex heeds the call of the last prime.
That is probably my favorite thing he says right there. Heeding the call of the last prime. Now, in his hands here, he carries these blaster guns. He's got two, one in each hand. They just peg into his hands there, with pretty much these just go into a slot. Now, what's neat with these is these fold up, like so. And then they are pegs. This peg here, there is a, let's see, peg hole right there. And this will peg in right here onto the shoulders to make a shoulder tower that can extend up. Kind of give you an idea here. And like we said, he's got one in each hand here. There we go. Now, of course, being Metroplex here, so I can get a little more straightened out. He does still have the missile bay here, just like his G1 counterpart. He has the gun pod that will flip down, and then it will fit a Generations figure there. Let me get one so I can kind of show you. A Legends class. There we go. Now, I don't know if you can see him there, but we got none other than Optimus Prime himself in there. I don't know if this will zoom in very well. Manning the gun turret, which brings me to something else with Metroplex here. If you can see in here where the buttons are, it actually has Optimus and RC and Bumblebee in there manning the control room. Not that Metroplex needs a control room because, of course, he's huge in the city. This side, of course, does to open up to become the launch bay. I'll touch on that in a little bit here when we get into other modes. Now, as far as articulation for this guy here, on the joints here, you can come out like this. Get full 360 around on the arm. And you have a ratcheting bicep swivel. Of course, you got a almost 90-degree elbow. In the hands, you got wrist articulation, and then each finger is articulated. Not jointed, just jointed there at the hand. And then, of course, you've got this kind of basic thumb. As I was saying, too, let me see if I can get in here on it. On the hand here, you've got this little slit, and then you pretty much are putting the guns in there. To hold everything together. There we go. I believe that was actually a shot in the game, so there you go. So it does make him very posable, at least from the top. We'll get into that a little bit here. Now I'm going to lower the camera down a little bit. Okay. Now down here in the midsection, you can see there is just awesome sculpted detail all over the place. But this is part of what I mean, that I don't know if I'd consider him the largest Transformer, because this is tiny compared to his height and everything else. So he doesn't have a lot of mass for being as big as he is. So I kind of leave it up to you to decide on that. Now, I'm going to put his arms up over his head here a little bit, kind of get some room. And then here is where he kind of has an issue. Because if you see, this is straight up, and he has a natural tendency to lean a little forward, which, you know, is fine because he's 5 miles tall and he's got to look down to see everything. But the problem is that the ratchet hips are not quite strong enough to hold him well. I mean, they hold him fine in robot mode, but if you like try to pose him, you have problems because his legs are very articulated for his size. I mean, it's really amazing what they put in there. It's just those joints aren't quite strong enough to really pull it off. So, for example here, you know, you can move this one forward and this one backwards a little bit. And that works pretty well. You know, you can give them kind of like a walking pose. You know. And that's pretty good, but you're kind of cheating because you're, you know, supporting all his weight that way, kind of spreading it out. But like, for example, let's see. See what I mean there? I just tried to straighten him out, and I didn't quite have his weight held up where I could deal with it. And he couldn't, that one joint couldn't handle it. So, kind of one of those things you kind of have to watch for with them. When you're posing them or transforming them, if you're not careful, he could topple over easy. Which is why I'm not going to try transforming him on camera, because I just don't want to risk breaking him. But continuing our tour here, we'll go down a little bit further. I mean, really, the only thing in robot mode I would complain about are those hip joints. And there are fixes online if you want to take them apart and add some extra stuff in there to tighten up the hip joints. I don't really know if it's worth it, because you're putting extra stuff in there to kind of hold it, and I don't know if the plastic is really designed to do it, so I haven't. But there are fixes for it. Now we work our way down the legs here. You can see they are very, very detailed. I mean, there's lots of nice stuff. You know, he's got his wheels for his attack carrier mode. Nice look to it here. Now you get down to the bottom. You can tell that this is white painted over the black plastic, which is okay. He's got knee guns. And then, of course, this all becomes the gantries and stuff in his city mode. But if you work your way all the way down, if you look, he's got little ball turrets on his feet. So I imagine him just walking across the battlefield. He's just like shooting out, you know, Transformers like, you know, just kind of death coming just as he's walking. These are angling up and down as he's walking, just shooting things up. But that is pretty much Metroplex's robot mode. On the back here, you can see he's got thrusters, because I think, unlike G1 Metroplex, his carrier mode was meant to actually be a flying carrier, because he's got rocket jets all over this place. If you go up his back, you can see there are also some here, along with all the machinery and everything. So, personally, I think he is meant to be a flying attack carrier, unlike the original, which seemed to just be a rolling carrier, which makes him pretty cool. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to try doing the transformation on camera, so I'm going to go ahead and get him into his attack carrier mode, and I'll be back in a moment. Now, here he is in his attack mode. So you can see up here, you got his main cannon starship. His head flips down and becomes like a control podium, I guess. And then he does come with his own version of Scamper, which is manning the shoulder gun. And then, of course, you do get a flight deck. The hangar does open up and allow things on. And then I picked a few random Transformers to be on the deck here. So let me lower this back down here so you get a closer look. Now, I may not have mentioned this, but Metroplex comes with 100 stickers in his sticker sheet. 100. I'm not joking. So as you can see here, the main cannons come out. You've got some fighters on the deck ready to go. All these are stickers on the deck. It locks together pretty well, and then it's supposed to roll. Oh, we lost Prime up there. It's supposed to roll on the wheels, which I guess it does. They don't all catch, but I mean it does kind of work. You can lower down his missile pod bay. You know, so you've got shoulder cannon, the cannons from the head, the other shoulder dual cannons, the cannons on his arms, plus the cannons pegged in, plus the vehicle bay where he can bring out more vehicles, other Autobots. He's got a repair station here with an arm. And then, of course, flight deck to land and retrieve aircraft, because I guess with these this way, technically they're supposed to come in this way and land. Probably get repaired or taken inside, and then of course take off this way. Sorry, most of the planes I pulled out are Decepticons, but for some reason most planes are Decepticons, so go figure. Anyway, it looks very nice with a Generations or Legends class scale, or maybe Leader class Legends. You know, some of the smaller Generation 2 figures work pretty well. He scales up pretty nicely. Not the most perfect in the world, you know, by any stretch, because it's, well, seems like any amount of deck space is not enough, which is probably true for modern aircraft carrier designers, but it is a pretty cool, oh, we lost Prime again, attack mode. Get a look here. All the way down to the deck. Bring it around here and look at the back side. Now on the back side, unfortunately, there's not really any place where his fists go. They don't fold up into anything. But it does work. And then just to look here real quick. Here is Scamper. He was pretty nice redo of the original. Alright, so here we are in city mode. And you can see there the main shoulder cannon and one of the arms becomes skyscrapers behind him. The head still stays the podium. Now, of course, just like the G1, this arm folds back around and then this splits open. You have a helipad and these repair arms, I guess, that come out. Let's see if we can get a little altitude here. There you go, you can see the helipad. And there is a seat back here for a Generations figure to sit in. And over on this side, this arm just kind of hangs out directly in front. It does open up and has a cannon joint that comes out here. And it allows another Legends class figure to sit in there. Of course, the door can still open here, and that's of course my cat trying to get in the toy room again. So you can't have that open up directly into one of the bays down here. And it's pretty much just him sitting down. Now, as far as each leg here, you see they split open here. This is the shin that opens up here. And of course you have a bay here where they can drive in. There are stickers and whatnot on here showing displays and repair bay. And then of course this is another part of the city where you can drive in. This is the underside of the carrier deck. In this mode, they drive in underneath here and come into the repair bay, and it's pretty much the same on both sides. There. And that's pretty much it for city mode. There's not a whole lot to this one, really. It's probably my least favorite of the modes. The weak joints in the hips that I was talking about kind of will let this centerpiece rock a little bit, so you kind of have to be careful with it. But otherwise, it's very cool. Now, I would recommend it because I really like Metroplex. And I do have G1 Metroplex, and I did say I was going to try and feature them when I do newer figures. But he's so massive, what I'm going to do here is probably just do some shots of them together. Just so you can see. And then that should be it. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned here. We'll do a little comparisons. And there is G1 Metroplex in front of Generations Metroplex. You can see the size difference in the city modes. And here we go, taking a quick look at the carrier mode. Of course, there's Generation Metroplex, and G1 Metroplex fits on the flight deck. There you go. And here we go. Here is G1 Metroplex in his robot mode. And then, of course, you can see he's about knee-high to Generations Metroplex. And there is Generations Metroplex and Scamper. So thank you for watching. Sorry if this isn't the usual way I shoot this, but like I said, Generations Metroplex is just too huge to really fit in my reviewing area. So as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.